Hello guys, this is Jarish. Welcome to ICAS Cloud. This video is about flow log in AWS VPC. Let's say this is a VPC and we know subnets are within the VPC. And when we launch EC2 instances, these instances are always going to be within the subnet. And every instance which we launch will always have a network interface controller. We call it as elastic network interface. And traffic going into the instance or coming out from the instance always uses the elastic network interface to go in or come out. Flow log is a feature in AWS VPC which is used to capture the IP traffic going into the instance. To enable flow log, you don't need to install any agent software within the EC2 instance. Flow log can be enabled in the ENI level to capture the traffic for a specific instance. Or if you have lot of instances in a subnet, you can enable flow log in the subnet level. Or if you want to capture traffic going into the entire VPC, it is also possible to enable flow log in the VPC level. In this demo, I am going to launch a EC2 instance in the default VPC, default subnet, and I am going to enable VPC flow log in the VPC level. I have logged into my AWS account via the AWS Management Console, and my console is connected to AP South 1 Mumbai region. I'll go to EC2. As of now, I don't have any running instances. I'm going to launch one EC2 Linux instance in default VPC in the default subnet. I'll go with Amazon Linux 2. I'll go with T2 Micro. I'm launching one instance in the default VPC in any of the subnet. I'm also making this instance act as a web server by adding user data scripts. I have pointed a text file which has configurations about Apache web server. I'll go with the default storage. I'll give the name tag as Linux 1, and I'll choose an existing security group which has port number 22 allowed for logging in and port number 80 allowed for HTTP. I'll click on review and launch and launch. I have this key, so I'll acknowledge and I'll launch the instance. Immediately after launching an EC2 instance, that instance will have a network interface. If you go to network interfaces section, you will be able to see a elastic network interface. This instance status check comes to 2/2. Now if I copy the public IP address or the public DNS name, and if I try accessing the website, I will be able to access the website. If we enable flow log will start capturing the IP traffic. Now, like I said earlier, flow log can be enabled in the ENI level. If I go to network interfaces, and if I select the elastic network interface of this EC2 instance, I can see a section called flow logs, and from there I will be able to create flow log. But this captures only for that specific instance. If we have lot of EC2 instances in this subnet, and if we want to capture the flow log for all the EC2 instance, we can enable it in the subnet level. I'll just open this subnet where this EC2 instance is running. I can select this subnet. Here as well I can able to see flow logs. From here, if I create flow log, it means I'm enabling it for the entire subnet. The third way is enabling flow log in the VPC level. That's what I'm going to give as a demo. Because I launched this EC2 instance in the default VPC, I'm going to enable flow log for default VPC. So I'll go to VPCs. I have two VPCs. One is default VPC and another is custom VPC. But I need to show you enabling VPC flow log in default VPC. So I'll select default VPC and I'll go to flow log, and from here I'm going to create flow log. I'll click on create flow log. It says here itself that flow log can capture IP traffic flow. I will give a name for this flow log as demo flow log. You can give any name of your choice, and that name itself is optional. This filter means if traffic coming from outside is accepted, that has to be logged, or if traffic coming from outside, if it is rejected, that can be logged, or both can be logged. So the filter type can be accept, reject, or all. In this demo, I'll go with all. Then maximum aggregation interval. So you have two choices, either 1 minute or 10 minutes. If I select 1 minute, log will be aggregated and stored as a single record. Now this flow log can be captured and it can be placed on S3 or on CloudWatch. We can decide whether to send the flow log to S3 or to CloudWatch log group. If I choose send to an S3 bucket, we need to have a bucket and that ARN has to be used here. In this demo, I am not going to send the flow log to S3 bucket, so I'll choose send it to CloudWatch logs. In CloudWatch, the logs are going to be placed on this log groups. As of now, I don't have any log groups. At the time of creating the flow log, it is required to select the log group. So we need to create a log group via the CloudWatch management console. I'll click on create log group. I'll give a name for this log group as demo log group. Log group is like a folder where the logs are going to be placed. If you want to retain certain logs for a specific amount of time, and if it has to be expired, then you can select the days, weeks, or month. By default, the retention settings was selected as never expire. And if these logs has to be encrypted, if we already have a KMS encryption key, that key ARN can be used here, but I am not doing that. I'll just click on create. Now this demo log group is created, and if I go inside it, within this log streams, as of now I don't have any streaming of logs. Now I can point this log group in this flow log creation step. Now if this flow log need to publish its log to CloudWatch, it needs permission. That's what at the time of creating the flow log, it is asked to select an IAM role. We can either create IAM role via the IAM management console and select from this dropdown, or if that IAM role is not created, to be very simple, AWS have this option. If you just click on setup permissions, AWS will show you the appropriate permission policy, and they will be creating a role with this name. It's going to create a role with the name flow logs role, and this policy is going to be within the role. I'll just click on allow. That is going to create the role. Now coming back again to flow log creation step. Earlier, if we have looked into this list of roles, there is no role with the name flow log role, but now if I refresh, there will be a role called flow logs role. Now we can select this. By selecting this role, now this flow log will have appropriate permission to publish its log to CloudWatch log group, and the logs will be by default recorded in AWS default format. If we want to customize the format, let's say if we want to select only few parameters like account ID, source address, destination address, source port number, destination port number, we can select that. But I'll go with AWS default format, and I'll ignore the tag, and then I'll click on create flow log. By doing so, a flow log is created for this default VPC. You can verify again by clicking on this flow log, and you can see the flow log. I just created one flow log for all traffic, and this is the flow log ID, and I published its log to CloudWatch logs. And if I click on this log group, it will open this CloudWatch log group, and where I can able to see the logs. As of now, still there is no logs. Maybe if someone initiates any request to resources within the VPC, it will start logging here in this log stream. It also shows the IAM role ARN. It shows the aggregation interval and the creation time and the status of flow log and the log line format. It is not possible to modify the flow log which we have created. We can either delete it and create a new one, or we can create multiple flow logs. After a few seconds, when I refresh log streams, I will be able to see a log stream with the Elastic Network Interface ID, and if I go inside it, I will be able to see the logs. By going through these logs from my browser, I tried again accessing it, and my current public IP address is 59.88, and if I go to CloudWatch, I will be able to see the request here. So this is the IP address from where I access the website, and this is the server's IP address, which is the destination IP address. This may be the source port number and this is the destination port number. The traffic was accepted. Now to do the cleanup, I'm going to delete the flow log. I'll go to VPC, I'll select the flow log, I'll go to action and I'll click on delete flow logs. Deleting the flow log will stop doing the log, but whatever have already logged will be still there. So if I go back to CloudWatch log group, or maybe if it is sent to S3, if you go to S3, whatever log already stored will be still there. These logs, if it is really important for you, it can be exported to S3, or if it is not really important, you can delete it by going to action and delete the log group. Finally, I'll also terminate the instance which I launched for testing. I'll go to instances. I'll terminate the instance.